So for this unexpected video, Chandler David Smith actually just showed up at my office.
Yeah, I figured your sales reps here need a little bit of work, so we could do some sales training.
Yeah, we got to get some more deals and close some more people. So he's going to be doing a sales training right now live for them. So let's go jump into it.
All right.
All right, so you guys know one of our core values is train daily. And so for everyone in this room, sales training is something that's probably the most important thing to us because we're constantly selling, whether it be real estate, whether it be education, tax, whatever. So I wanted to bring in a sales trainer that I know has been crushing it in sales, not only just in his company, but also in real estate, also with social media as well. So you guys may have seen him, Chandler Smith. He came here last time about a month ago. Well, he was randomly in the area and I told him to come by. I want him to train you guys and see how many extra deals he can help us get. For those of you who don't know him, he's got over $14 million in real estate. He has a company that did over $15 million last year selling pest control. And obviously you got to be quite the salesman to grow a YouTube channel, as you guys know. So I'm going to bring him in here. I'm going to let him tell you guys what exactly he does, and we'll see what we can learn. What up, dude? Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just jump right into things.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm excited to be here. I love all things sales. Right now, actually, I have 765 sales reps that are planning on coming out and working for us. And just so you kind of understand what we do, it's a very unique kind of sales because it is completely cold calling on every single door. So we take all of these sales reps, we ship them out all over the United States, and they're not going to warm leads. They're not going to leads at all. They're going out and knocking doors in random neighborhoods. And so when you're knocking on a door, you guys can imagine, but everyone's first impression is to say no. And so we not only have to work on resolving concerns, closing people, walking them through the process, but more importantly, it's just getting through the first couple seconds and getting people to be willing to listen to you. So today, I'm going to talk about all of the things that you need to know to make a good first impression, from your verbal, paraverbal, nonverbal communication, so that you can be engaging with people, you can be likable, you can get them to continue to listen to you. And then we're also going to talk about closing. So when you get to the end, I think that's the most important part. And unfortunately, a lot of people just don't know how to close. They know how to get that relationship, they know how to get through their pitch, and then they get to the end and they know the deal should happen and they can't put it together. So I'm going to focus on that as well. But before I do, I wanted to share kind of my experience. And this is something that I hope everyone really holds on to in the good days and in the bad days of selling. But my first summer, I went out to work for this organization that I still work with today. Now, I was a minion, right? I was a nobody. I couldn't find a job doing anything else. And I thought, hey, why not go and knock doors and sell pest control, because I had heard that you could make decent money. So I picked up my life and I moved out to LA, California. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I was a little bit of a cocky guy at the time. I think naturally I just thought I could go out and I could sling it. And so I went out, I did their training, I jumped through their hoops, and I was like, come on, let me knock. Like begging them, just let me hit the doors. And I will tell you, after my first day of knocking, I was wishing I wouldn't have begged to hit the doors, because I went out and I just got my face smashed in. I didn't sell any accounts that first day. And not only did I not sell accounts, but I didn't even get through my pitch. Now I went out the second day and I was getting through the pitch more, but again, I'm not selling anything. Now keep in mind, this is a pretty easy sale for most people. So by the second and third day, you know, most of the people that I was out there working with had at least gotten a sale of pest control. I hadn't got anything. So now at this point, the third day comes, the fourth day comes, the fifth day comes, and I still wasn't selling anything. As a matter of fact, I got through the entire first week and I hadn't sold a single account. And every other person on my team, and we had 40 sales reps in LA, every single other person had sold an account. And so I'm looking at some of these guys, and I'm just gonna be honest, I mean, some of these guys, they shouldn't have been hired to begin with. And so seeing that they had sold an account and I hadn't, like my confidence was down here. And so I really buckled down on our training. I spent a lot of time with better sales reps. I had spent that whole week getting my teeth smashed in, but then going after hours, and I was getting further and further into my pitch. And then finally, after 7 days of not selling anything, that next week I went through the morning, I hadn't sold anything, and I ran into, you could say, a lucky customer. This guy had tons of rats in his attic. Now, I don't know if you've had rats in your attic, but you're usually pretty motivated to get rid of them if you do. And so because of it, it made it a pretty rollover sale for me. And things kind of transitioned. Once I had the confidence that, hey, I can actually do this, in the course of the next hour, it just clicked. Like, I was resolving concerns, I was acing, I was closing. I sold 4 accounts in the next hour, which, turns out in this industry, it made me close to $1,000 in one day. So I'd gone a whole week of not making anything, and then I made $1,000 in one day. Now, I was at the point where everyone was kind of whispering, saying, when's this kid gonna quit? When's he gonna go home? When's it gonna end for him? And so I think after that first day, people are like, I don't know if those are real accounts, like maybe he just BS'd them. But the next day I went out, and it was a Saturday. I sold 1 account. The next day I went out and I sold 8 on a Monday. So we had Sunday off. On a Monday I sold 8 accounts, and everyone lost it. They're like, dude, what are you doing? And from then on out, I just threw down that summer. So I actually broke the rookie record for the company. I sold 459 accounts in under 100 days in the summer, and that correlated over to me making $96,000 selling pest control. So the reason that I share this story with you is, I think before I went out, I always assumed that sales was a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more people you're gonna sell. I can tell you firsthand that if you are doing the right things, you will sell exponentially more than people that aren't. And what's really cool about sales is there is always a next level. I've been doing this for 10 years, and every year I get better at not only training sales reps, but more importantly, reading the customer, knowing what to say, how to say it, and that correlates to a lot more sales. Now, to put things into perspective, in our industry, the average is to sell about 2 accounts a day. We have people that have sold over 30 accounts in a day. So when you think about how different that is, now this is a much shorter sale, but you need to understand the skill set you have in sales can always get better, and as it does, it will correlate to more sales, and in your case, a lot more money. So I'm going to talk about a couple things that are really going to help. Now, you guys do on the phone and in person. What I've come to find is they are very similar, because we've done some phone sales as well. And it's interesting because the things I'm going to teach you, if you do them while you're on the phone, you're going to feel stupid, because it's things like smiling, head nodding, all of these different things. However, they will pick that up in your voice. So whether you're on the phone or in person, these are going to work. In person, they really work. And I'm going to share a couple of those things with you. So really quick, I want somebody to come up here with me. Anybody I can pick on? Bring it. Come on up. Now, with my sales reps, anytime they are struggling, obviously we have our pitch. And our pitch is absurdly important. And there are lots of different things you need to do within that pitch. However, when you are in person with people, the most important things, and you should write these down, is smile, head nod, and slow down. Now, it's going to sound so stupid to you, but these things, I say them thousands of times to my sales reps because they're extremely important to make people feel comfortable. If you're a fast talker, you've got to change it, because the faster you talk, the more sketchy you sound and the less likely they are to trust you. But more importantly, you're trying to get them to mirror you. You're trying to get them to feel comfortable, to feel at ease. And as you slow down, they'll slow down. As you smile, they'll smile. As you head nod, they'll head nod. And a great example, I'm sorry, I probably brought you up a little early. We're just gonna make you stand here for a minute though. The best example of this, if you watch speakers, how many of you, do you remember Mitt Romney as a speaker? Okay, and obviously I'm sure a lot of you remember Obama as a speaker. Obama was the best at this, Mitt Romney was the worst at this. If you look when they're speaking, they're making points and Mitt Romney is going like this, right? I'm not gonna raise your taxes, okay? That doesn't seem very believable, right? When you're looking at a speaker, if they're negative head nodding, you're gonna be negative head nodding and say, I don't understand why I'm not connecting with this person. However, you look at Obama, every statement he makes, you feel like he's looking you right in the eye and he's giving you one of these, right? And if you look at his audience, a lot of times they're just going like this. They're just head nodding and agreeing with him. You will know you have you're winning if you're getting them to smile and to head nod, okay? So we're gonna do a little demonstration here. Now I'm gonna do a pest control pitch. However, you guys can move this over into what you do. Your goal is to not smile and to not head nod, okay? You have to do everything you can. Now keep in mind, they have done studies, and when people smile, when they head nod, there's an endorphin release. They feel more comfortable, they connect with you. And the same goes on the phone. Now, you need to be head nodding, you need to be smiling, you need to do these things to get them, because when they're on the phone, you want to literally hear in their voice that they're going like this, okay? And so in person, I'm going to do a pitch. You guys are going to see a pest control pitch here, because that's what we do. But I can move it over into anything else you guys want, and we'll show you how to do it. So, you straight face. You guys, if he smiles, you call him out on it. If he head nods, you call him out on it. All right?
I'm already smiling, so I gotta.
Okay. All right. Got to answer the door. I just nodded. You're smiling, though, so be careful.
All right. Not smiling. Hello? Yes?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. My name's Chandler. I'm with Aptive. It's pest control. I'm actually coming around. Do you know Susan across the street?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm taking care of her, Joan, about 15 others here in the neighborhood. It's been a lot of problems with the spiders, ants. I'm sure you know how it gets.
Right. They were telling me about it.
Yeah, they're awesome. The reason I'm here, if I can get you in with them while we're here, I'm doing it for more than half off. What's the square footage of your place?
It's around 1,500.
Cool. Awesome. Now, what we do, you know how you'll get the spider webs, wasp nests up underneath the eaves?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. If I can get you in with them, I'm going to sweep those down and treat them all the way around the home. Now, that's going to look nice, but that way nothing is getting in through the attic, dropping down into the home. Now, around the base, have you ever noticed how you get the cracks, crevices?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, we're going to stop for a minute. How many times did he head nod with me? I'm getting him warmed up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple tricks to getting people to smile and to head nod. One of them is chuckle talk. And I picked on you. You did a great job. You actually held pretty strong. So obviously sit down. With them, the way that it works is there are a couple things that will get people to agree with you. They'll get them to smile. They'll get them to head nod. And what it is first off, it comes down to eye contact and eye contact breaks. And it comes down to putting in head nods consistently throughout your pitch and using them in the proper place. So, for example, in my pitch, will have all of my sales reps plan eye contact breaks. Now, with you guys, have you ever noticed, I know you're told to keep eye contact with people, but it's really hard to keep eye contact, because if you keep eye contact with someone for the whole time, it starts to get uncomfortable, right? While I'm doing this, you tell me, how comfortable are you at this point? Right? You're good? What if we do it for the whole time? Do you guys think he's going to start to get a little bit uncomfortable? For sure. Same with when you're interacting with someone, right? If you keep laser eye contact, they're going to get uncomfortable. That's not our goal. Now, I'm uncomfortable. Are you uncomfortable? Yeah. So what you do throughout your pitch is you're going to plan eye contact breaks. Now, what's really cool about eye contact breaks is when I make an eye contact break, and then I make eye contact again, I give a head nod, what's he doing? You're head nodding, right? Everybody's head nodding. Gives you this ability to break eye contact with something that matters and connect. However, if you're one of these people where you're talking, and you're looking up here, and then you're talking, and you're looking down here, and you're talking, and you're looking up here, people won't trust that as much, right? Anytime we see people looking down, it makes us uncomfortable, and you want to say maybe it's sketchy. Okay? So it's so crucial to make sure that you have planned eye contact breaks and that they're followed up with smiles and head nods. I tell my sales reps that it's a point game. And the more points you can get, the more endorphins you can release in your customers, the more smiles, the more head nods, the more they're going to connect with you. Have you guys ever had someone in your life where you meet them and like 30 seconds in, you're saying, man, I don't know why, but I really like this person? Have you guys experienced that? Right? You will come to find that any person that fits that criteria, they're super smiley, they're head nodding, and they're slowing way down. Now, when you're on the doors or when you're connecting with someone, It is uncomfortable, and it will be uncomfortable for you early on, but I will tell my reps to go as slow as they can. And the reason that you do this is, one, you're not going to get cut off, but you can think through your words, you can get them to smile and head nod a lot more, and you can build a lot more confidence in someone. You think about an old person. Have you guys ever been in an old folks' home before? And you sit down with them and they're telling you a story, and you want to leave. It's time for you to go. You've put in your time, but it drags on another 20 minutes, and you can't cut them off to be like, sorry, I got to go. Because they're talking like this, and they're stringing their words together to the point where there's no way for you to interject. At the beginning of your approach, if you're worried someone's going to cut you off, if you do this and string it together, it is borderline impossible for people to cut you off. So, in my first pitch, I went fast. I want to bring you up for another one.
Sure.
I want you to try and cut me off. Now, you're probably going to be able to do it. However, we're going to see how uncomfortable you are with it. I'm going to redo the pitch, okay?
Sure. Hi, yes.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. My name's Chandler. I'm actually coming around. I'm taking care of June, Sarah, about 15 others just right here in the neighborhood. It's been a lot of spiders, ants. I'm sure you know how it gets.
Actually, we don't have any spiders or ants in here, so.
Definitely. A lot of the neighbors haven't seen it outside. It's just now, or they haven't seen it inside. It's just now starting to creep in. Now, usually for home your size, it's $200 for the first visit. Then we come back quarterly, just $119. However, if I can get you in with the neighbors, I'm literally knocking off $100, doing it for just 99 bucks, and that's for everything. Now, here,
I know what you're saying, and that sounds like a great deal, but I've been living here for 5 years, never had any issues with spiders or ants or
definitely,
anything like that.
Sarah was the same way. If you'll notice, you see how you get the spider webs up underneath the eaves? With me, you're never gonna see those again. Now, I need to sweep those down and treat them all the way around the home.
Yeah,
that
I
way
can
it
do
looks
that myself.
nice.
If spiders ever want to come in here, there's a couple people here, we can just take care of those.
For sure, that's actually the best part. As you notice, you know how you get the cracks and crevices around the foundation?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. They're like a highway for all those bugs. So what I need to do, I'm gonna treat a full
if it's a highway, then we got road closed over here. So
Yeah, definitely. That's our goal. The best part of the service, though, you've probably noticed all the bugs are coming from the yard, right?
Oh, we still just don't have it.
Perfect. We're gonna stop you there. Okay. Awesome. So, couple things. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Anytime I can feel like he's about to cut me off, and you saw it early on, you got up, I can see his shoulders raised, I break eye contact and I slow way down, right? Because if I'm looking away, he can't cut me off. I'm talking slow, I'm taking my time, and then the second I turn around, I give him that big smile and head nod. I don't know if you guys noticed, earlier he was thinking about not smiling and head nodding. Did you see he was head nodding like crazy, even though, because he was focusing on something else? So if you can get them to smile, you can get them to head nod, you resolve and push through those concerns with chuckle talk. Pretty soon people are like, this guy, man, I got to just hear him out. Like, he's good, right? Awesome. You can sit down.
Sweet, thank you.
Cool. So make sure you're getting smiles, head nods. You've got good eye contact break, and when you come back from that eye contact break, you get that. However, if you can slow down, I promise you, you can never go too slow. And I had a sales rep challenge me on this before. He said, Chandler, you can go too slow. And I said, no, you can't. Like, you need to go as slow as you possibly can. And he said, no, you can't go this slow and sell someone. So I took him out on the door, and I kid you not, I did my entire pitch like this. I said, hey, how are you? Good. My name's Chandler. I'm with Aptive. It's pest control. Okay, I'm not going to do this whole thing. Here's the deal. Going that slow, once you do it at the beginning, you're committed, right? You got to do it the whole way. And they can't cut you off. I sold the guy, all right, going that slow. He probably bought because he thought there was something wrong with me. But my point is, people will not cut you off if you slow down. So when you feel like people are cutting you off, they're trying to end the conversation, take a deep breath and slow down. Another helpful hint, when you get to the point where things are uncomfortable, and then I'm going to go into resolving concerns, acing, and closing. But a lot of times you'll get into a point where people are uncomfortable. And in my business, there are two kinds of concerns. There's smoke screens and there are actual concerns. Now with smoke screens, that's what he's given me. Anytime you're in the beginning, I'd say 1 to 2 minutes with someone, anything they say, especially on the doors, is most likely a lie to try and get you off the phone or off their door. So you're going to use a happy word like sure, great, perfect. You're going to give them a big smile, and you're going to go right back into what you were saying. One of the big mistakes sales reps make is in the beginning, they'll treat this like a concern, and they'll try to resolve it. All that does is it takes their lie, and it digs them into their lie. It justifies them in that smoke screen, and it makes it an objection that you're not going to be able to overcome. However, if you blow through it with, I call them happy words, sure, great, perfect, and then you roll right back into your pitch at the beginning, that's going to work. Now, that won't work if it's a real concern or a real objection, and that is what we're going to talk about next. However, one helpful hint with real objections. I'm going to teach you how to resolve, ace, and close on these. However, if you get in a point where you're stuck, you don't have any more resolves, you don't have any more aces, you don't have any more closes, you need to redirect and get their mind somewhere else and then go back into it. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. However, I'm going to teach you our model of resolve, ace, close. So at this point, you've gone through your pitch, you've smiled, you've head nodded, you've had good eye contact breaks, you've made sure that you've built value in whatever you're doing, and they still say no. Our model is resolve, ace, close. Now, with a resolve, you're still going to use a happy word. And the point of a happy word is you want them to feel heard. So again, sure, great, perfect. However, now you need a good resolve. Now, with a good resolve, you need to try and understand their concerns. So sometimes this requires you to ask good questions, try and figure out what their real issue is. A lot of times, for example, I'll have sales reps that someone will come out and say, hey, I don't want the service because I've got someone coming tomorrow and they're going to be cutting all my trees. I don't want you out here while they're cutting the trees. And the sales rep will drop the price. It's like, look, their concern wasn't price. Their concern was they're going to have someone on their property. They don't want you messing with them. They don't want to be liable because we're out there spraying their property. And so you need to resolve that concern. So you need to make sure that you're listening to people and that you're also getting their concern out of them. And one of the lines that we'll use to get the concern out of them is if you hit a wall for us, and you can transition this line, but it's, look, I can tell you're happy with the price, the service. I can promise you we're bringing the best value. What is it that you're worried about? What is it that you're concerned about? Now, you're never going to do that until after you've pushed multiple times to resolve, ace, close, but you've got to dig in and figure out what their real concern is and then resolve to that. So you're going to resolve it, and the trick with sales is you take whatever their concern is and you make it a positive. For example, when someone in our industry brings up that concern of I'm going to have people on the property, that is the best part about our service, is when they cut down the trees, that's going to send a ton of bugs inside the home. We want to be here the same day they are so we can get that treated, taken care of, build the barrier, keep everything out of your home. All right? So whatever their concern is, and these are things you need to write down. If you're getting consistent concerns, figure out a way to not only resolve their concern, but turn their concern into a positive. Now, once you've turned their concern into a positive, then you're going to throw in what I call an ace. And an ace has a preface, a feature, and a benefit. Now, with your aces, they're just to build value in your service. So if I just resolved their concern with, sure, I totally understand they're going to be on the property. We want to get someone out here to build a barrier, keep everything out. However, what I can do for you, I noticed that you've got these shrubs and bushes out here in the front. I'm guessing they're not cutting those, right? Definitely. I want to make sure those stay looking nice the whole year because I know the aphids, snails are going to start munching on them. So when my guy comes out, we're going to set up that barrier, but I'm also going to treat your shrubs, your bushes, and your flowers for any of those aphids, slugs, or snails. So now I've not only resolved their concern, I've thrown in an ace that's a positive on top of it that's taken their mind somewhere else, and now I'm going to close. So the second I finish, I'm going to say, now I've got spots in the morning or the afternoon. What works better for you? All right? The most important part about a close is they can't have the ability to tell you no. So option closes morning or afternoon, 2 or 3, 5 or 7. Do you want me to do it when you're here? Is it better when your wife's here? Whatever it is, right? Find an option to give them where the only possible answer is going to be yes. Now I want to break down this preface, feature, benefit. The preface feature benefit is what I did with these shrubs, bushes, and flowers. And what it is first off, you want to paint the problem with your preface. So I notice you've got these shrubs, bushes, flowers. You know how they'll get munched on by the aphids, slugs, snails? I'm getting yeses from them in every preface. I'm getting smiles, I'm getting head nods, but I'm building a problem, all right? The feature is what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to have my guy come out. We're going to treat all the shrubs, bushes, flowers for any of those aphids, slugs, or snails. And then you're going to go into the benefit. That way we keep those looking nice all year so nothing's munching on your plants. Now you'll notice my preface, my feature, and my benefit all have smiles. They all have head nods. And I use something called a list head nod. This is the easiest way to get people just bobbing and hyped on what you're doing, and it's all list things. You know, the aphids, slugs, snails, the shrubs, bushes, flowers. I get this bounce going, and I'm telling you, when they're not trying to not head nod, they're just sitting here like this, okay? And if you can get your customers smiling and head nodding, it's going to be game over when you get to the close. Now, the biggest mistake I find with people when they close is they'll speed up. So they're going to go, that way I can get all those taken care of for you, or the mornings or afternoons better, all right? Sketches people out. They're nervous. They're about to close. You want your close to be slower than any other portion of your pitch. And again, you only want the right answer to be yes. And for my sales reps, I'll tell them, lay out all of your concerns. In our industry, there are no more than 20 concerns you could possibly run into. Now, there are slight variations of those concerns, but for every concern, you should have 3 different resolves, 3 different aces, and 3 different closes. The last thing I'll say is, and I'm sure this is similar in your industry, we always want to go to a price ace, right? Anytime you're up against the wall, you want to drop price, because for some reason our brains are like, price is where it's at. You always want to use the price aces last. So if you have the ability to change price, to drop price, to do anything involving money, don't use those until you've done at least 5 to 10 resolve, ace, and closes with something that has to do with your service, with something that has to do with you bringing value or making what you're doing more valuable to them. Because then as you build value, your price drops are going to mean more. Now, the last thing that ties all of this together is urgency. If you aren't consistently building urgency in a sale, then a lot of these things aren't going to work. So for us, we build urgency because we go and we follow our quarterly trucks. So for them to get the discount, for them to get the extra shrub treatment, for them to get the interior treatment, for them to get any of the aces that I'm giving, I'm always going to add in, now, here's what I could do for you. If I can get you in tomorrow, why our trucks are here. If I can get you in tomorrow, why we're taking care of the neighbors. If I can get you in tomorrow is going to be said over and over and over again. And when it gets more and more intense, I'll even say, look, my truck's sitting just around the corner. If we can get this done right now, and you can keep it a secret from your neighbors, here's what I'll do for you. All right? That builds the urgency through the roof so that they know they need to make a decision right there. Now, if you're not building urgency, you're not getting smiles, you're not getting head nods, and most importantly, if you're not closing, you're not going to get the sale when someone else is. And it goes against our nature, and it's super uncomfortable. However, one thing that you need to remember is that people want to be closed, right? I'm shopping out stuff for my house right now. I want somebody to come in my door and prove to me that they are the best and close the heck out of me, and that's the guy I'm going to go with on whatever it is, whether it's windows, flooring, pest control, security systems, selling my house, buying my house. I want to be closed. And if you don't close people, they're going to lose respect for you. They're not going to work with you. The big thing, though, is there's a big difference between being persistent and being pushy. And where you draw that line all comes down to the nonverbal and paraverbal stuff we talked about. Getting good smiles, getting good head nods, and building value. Now, the one other thing that I want to talk about, and this is in person. How are we looking on time? Am I about up?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to have you stand up here again.
Sure.
This is a fun little trick when you're in person with people. As sales reps, a lot of times, we want to square up. Now, When you do this, this is natural. You're on someone's door. You think you're supposed to square up with them. But this is really uncomfortable. It's really hard to close someone when you're like this. So anytime you're with someone, you want to get on their team. They're not smelling your breath. They're not looking you in the eye. You can still make good eye contact, but they're way more comfortable. So I call it the Salesman Shuffle, but when I knock doors, I'm completely sideways, right? When I'm trying to interact with people, make connections, build relationships, whatever it is. And Ryan, now that you know this, you'll notice this is how I am with anyone that I talk to. If they come and square me up, I'm going to come right here, and I'm slowly going to creep to where I'm on their team, right? Now I can show them stuff. They're not smelling my breath. They're much more comfortable, and I'm in a place where now I'm on their team. I'm putting them at ease rather than squaring up, breathing down their throat, doing all of that. And so and that's all I needed you for. So when you're interacting with people, as you can, slowly shuffle to the side, get on their team, have planned eye contact breaks, get smiles, get head nods. Then when you get to the close, you have to be so assumptive. And this is the last thing I'll talk about, and then we can wrap this up. But I'll have sales reps that they'll do everything perfectly, like literally everything perfectly. They'll resolve, they'll ace, they'll close, but in their close, instead of doing an option close, they'll say, what do you think? Is that something you'd be comfortable doing? And every single time, unless they are the most rollover sell on earth, they're going to say, it's good. No thanks, man. You've been awesome. Thanks so much for your time. And it's horrible. So I'll have sales reps that'll resolve ace, close, resolve ace, close, resolve. And I should just say resolve ace, resolve ace, resolve ace. Do everything right, smiles, head nods. They're not getting a close, and it's hilarious because I'll be on the doors with them. I'll let them mess around for 10 minutes with this customer. And I'll step in, I'll throw out one ace, one close, and I'll do one resolve, one ace. And for my close, I'll do a super hard close because we've been there forever. I'll just say, what's your name? I'll say, my name's John. Perfect. What's your last name, John? And I'm just going to assumptively sign them up. And the sales rep that's been battling for the last 15 minutes watches me say something for 30 seconds and sign this person up. And he's just like, what the heck, dude? Like, how did you do that? And it's just because they're not closing. And so when you close, you can use option closes, but every option close needs to get more and more intense to the point where literally then the only answer is yes. And if you have someone, you've got a contract, and you've been resolving ace and closing, and you say, now what was your name again, sir? John? Perfect. And you start signing them up, and they say, whoa, what are you doing? You look them in the eye and you say, yeah, we're getting you set up, right? And then you say, what was the address again? And they're gonna be like, 32 Wallaby Way, all right? And you just roll with it. I'm telling you, closing makes all of the difference. So if you do all this stuff, it's gonna work, but if you're not closing, it won't. So use option closes and then be assumptive. When someone gives you a yes, but you're like, I'm not sure if they're all in on this, you can't show them you're unsure if they're all in on this. You have to know they are all in, you're all in, and you're just gonna go through the process, and I promise you're gonna close way more people, and you're gonna be in a much better place. Dude. Hopefully that helps you guys.
All right, dude, that was an awesome training. I even picked up a lot out of it. I'm going to be hard closing you to come back again, man. But
thank you.
If you guys are not following Chandler, we're going to link to his stuff down below. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. Obviously, he's a great sales trainer, but he's an even better real estate investor and YouTuber, I think. I think you're the best YouTuber there is.
Hey, that's way too nice of you, man. I thought you were the best. So.
No, I'm trying to close you, though. So make sure you guys go follow him.